Hello, everyone, and welcome to District 81, presenting District Connect. Here we have a short discussion with Toastmasters leaders, influencers, and public speakers about their leadership achievements, public speaking journey. We have the privilege to speak with distinguished Toastmaster David Paris. Toastmaster Paris is a long-standing member of Toastmasters International. He is the recipient of Toastmasters International highest award, Distinguished Toastmaster, an accomplished public speaker, seminar presenter, and certified master trainer. Distinguished Toastmaster Paris conducts seminars, workshops, and training sessions for public and private sector organizations, churches, and community groups locally and regionally. I am Distinguished Toastmaster Odine Cole-Phoenix, the Public Relations Manager of District 81, and this is District Connect. Toastmaster Paris, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
I'm fine, and it's a pleasure being here with you this afternoon.
It's a pleasure having you as well. So tell us, Toastmaster Paris, who are you? Where are you from, and what do you enjoy doing?
I am from the island of Barbados, one of the gems of the Caribbean. I'm a member of the Bridgetown Toastmasters Club, the second oldest club within District 81. I am also a club mentor and a coach, as well as a mentor to several Toastmasters across the island. I'm also a John Maxwell certified teacher, trainer, and coach.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Paris. How long have you been a Toastmaster, and what brought you into Toastmasters?
I have been a member for a short 4 decades. And what brought me into Toastmasters was during my studies, my master's program. I knew I was going into management, and I knew I was also shy. And I heard about the Toastmasters program as the ideal vehicle, which will allow me to acquire the requisite skills to enable me to succeed within the management arena.
Always excellent. When you think about Toastmasters and leadership, it really represents us there. How would you use being the longest serving member in Barbados to influence others in District 81?
I would use it because I believe the best showcase is by example. So my focus will be on setting a powerful example to those watching on and reflecting the benefits that I have acquired from Toastmasters over the years.
Sounds fabulous, Toastmaster Paris. I'm curious though, how did you stay committed as a member? Because I know many members today are having a lot of challenges. So tell us, how did you stay committed?
That is easy. First, I look at Toastmasters as a mutually beneficial exercise. Toastmasters benefit me a lot in terms of developing my leadership and communication skills, but then it also equips me to share those skills. And what is important is that as leaders and as communicators, we need to develop ourselves to the highest level to be in a position to share with others. And that is what Toastmasters has done for me. Enable me to be always on the cutting edge, to be benefiting from new procedures, new policies and ideas, so that as I develop, I am then in a better position to develop those who come into contact with me or within my sphere of influence.
I'm sure you know a few Toastmasters who are struggling today. So if you had the opportunity to influence one, what would you say to that Toastmaster that is struggling now? What would you tell them to do to stay committed?
Well, first of all, I would encourage them to have a clear objective as to what it is they want to achieve and where they are going. Having that in mind, they can then develop a strategy to achieve those objectives or that objective. And for me, as I said earlier, it was about gaining self-confidence and the like. And as I progressed through the Toastmasters program, I found that it was responding effectively to my areas of need. So remaining committed was not really a challenge. As I remain within the program, I continue to grow and receive positive feedback. So that in itself was encouragement, and I too could see the growth in myself.
So Toastmaster Paris, is there any other, because I know you shared in the last question I asked some benefits, is there any other benefit that you think you gained as a communicator and an effective leader from this Toastmasters program?
Most certainly, it enabled me to share the story that is within me. All of us has a story within ourselves. Unfortunately, many people die and go to the grave with that story still unshared. What this program has enabled me to do is to be able to formulate my thoughts in a way that I can share the story within me in an interesting way, and also to equip others to share the story that is within them.
I'm so happy you said in an interesting way, because my next question says, what are some guidelines and tips that you can share that you have used in writing and delivering different types of speeches? Tell us.
Mm-hmm. Well, the first thing is you have to have the correct perspective. That is, you can see things internally or from your point of view, or externally from the point of view of the audience. So in terms of preparing speeches and the like, one of the first things I do is ask myself, what can I contribute to this audience? How can I uplift this audience? I shift the focus from myself being nervous or wondering how they would think of me to what can I give and impart to the audience. So one is perspective. Secondly, you need to have a clear message. You must know exactly what is that message you want to share and that would appeal to the audience. It is also important to read widely to keep yourself on the cutting edge so that you always have something meaningful to share. And finally, and importantly, have a reservoir of stories at your command. Because as Caribbean people, we are skilled at storytelling. And that is one of the most effective ways to communicate your message. So have those stories at hand and that are relevant to the subject matter and that you can readily share with your audience.
Toastmaster Paris, I have a few stories myself. I can't wait to tell the Caribbean people. But let's transition a little now to a few questions relating to leadership, because Toastmasters is all about communication and leadership. There are other areas, but these are the two main areas as it relates to Toastmasters. So how have your public speaking and leadership skills evolved over the years?
They have evolved significantly over the years. One of the challenges, or one of the benefits, I should say, of Toastmasters, it keeps evolving. So, for example, when I joined Toastmasters in the 80s, one of the ways to promote the organization, for example, was to place a magazine in a doctor's office so that the patients could read. Now, we have internet and all the features, Instagram and the like. Therefore, over the time, I had to develop and keep abreast of the technology. And I think that is very, very essential. Within the Toastmasters program, and even the format changes from the legacy program now to Pathways, you have to keep reinventing yourselves and finding different ways to communicate your message. Because what worked in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s will not work now.
When was the first time someone identified and shared with you that they saw leadership qualities in you?
I think from a very young child, that comment was often and always made to me that leadership potential was seen in me. And significantly, a lot of it came from my colleagues, my peers, those who were around me. They always looked to me for leadership. Even when they did not see it in myself, they looked to me for leadership. And in a way, they served to encourage me and inculcate that concept within me that I have leadership potential.
Is there any one person who influenced you on this leadership journey?
Many persons, I would say, have influenced me. There have been my parents, my spiritual advisors, and my bosses in various areas. And they influenced me in two ways. The good bosses showed me what to do to be an effective leader, and the bad bosses showed me what not to do. So whether they were good or bad, I benefited from them. And also, to me, very important and often overlooked is the aspect of mentorship within the Toastmasters program. I think that has played a significant role in sharpening me, keeping me focused, and giving me a great deal of self-confidence.
I won't even ask you the question about mentorship because you answered it already. What advice would you give to a new Toastmaster Paris?
The advice I would give to a new Toastmaster is to have a clear idea as to what it is you want to achieve and devise the strategy or identify the strategy that will get you there. Once that is done, you are on the road. It is said that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So once you are ready, then the blocks will fall into place to take you to where you are. But also, it is important to read widely, as I said earlier, become familiar with things around you, and to build around you a cohort of people that will give you true and meaningful feedback, not persons that will say, you are good when you are not. Not that you want someone to demolish you, but you want honest, effective, creative feedback so that you are in a position to always advance and go forward. You cannot do it on your own. You need that critical feedback. And my wife provides that feedback for me.
Before we go, do you have any tried and proven tips that you can share with us about public speaking and or leadership?
Most definitely. The first one I will share with is active listening. Now, often when we speak of communication, we do not consider active listening, but that is critical because we must understand where the person is at, where they are coming from, and what information they are seeking so that we can respond effectively. Now, when I speak of active listening, I am not only speaking of listening with your ears, but listening with your eyes and your other senses. I spent many years as a human resources manager, and I discovered it's very important. So I need to close your ears and listen with your eyes and with your feelings, because the story often is not in what you hear, but in what is seen and what is felt and what is anticipated. Secondly, audience analysis. I think we need to pay a lot of attention to analyzing an audience. Often from presenting, people run off and want to start writing. But before you can write, you need to analyze your audience so that you can understand their needs, and then the ideas come more readily to you and makes the writing and the preparation of the speech more effective. And finally, again, the use of stories. Very, very critical, and keep the stories in what I was saying, the present tense. Don't say 20 years ago, so and so happened. But you can say, just come with me and imagine. There I was. And you make it fresh and in the present. And you're able to capture and maintain the audience's attention. I found those tips have worked for me. significantly well.
You, distinguished Toastmaster David Paris. My guest is distinguished Toastmaster David Paris, one of Barbados' committed Toastmasters. Thank you for joining us. This is District 81, District Connect. Until next time, make a world of difference.